Kat. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, Valerie. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor. It's an
Ah,
honor to be here.
thank you. Thank you. You're such a beautiful woman. I always praise about you and your eyes. And I want to tell the
Oh,
story to the listeners that how I met you because we find people from all over the world, experts, to give our listeners, just a strategy how to live better and do better in their business. And we talk about health, we talk about relationship, we talk about career, we talk about money mindset. We cover all topics. But I was just browsing through my Instagram and I saw your picture and I'm like, whoa, this girl has such a beautiful eyes.
oh, that's so sweet. You get like my
Yeah.
dad. My dad's the blue-eyed
Oh,
man.
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about marketing, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, sometimes that works.
Exactly.
Catch my attention.
Yeah.
So I know I did an introduction for you, but tell the listener on your own word, what is it that you do?
So I'm an on-camera sales coach. I have 10 years of experience showing up on TV, on national television, and sales and marketing at some networks that some of you might be familiar with, QVC and HSN. So that's been the extent of my career. And a lot of people don't know this. I actually have an e-commerce business as well that eventually transitioned into what I do now as a coach. So my whole thought process behind this was, how can I take the corporate job that I eventually lost when everything hit the fan in the United States? I think we're
Mm,
familiar with this little pandemic.
yes, 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 yes.
So I thought to myself, how can I position this into a new business venture for myself? And so that's what led me to doing on-camera sales coaching.
Wow. From what I look at you as in you're the coach that pretty much teaching people out there how to be authentic, how to be themselves, how to come in. And I know me and you spoke before. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do that. And then let's go back to what inspired you to do that and then come to the online world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is where the spiritual side is tapping in. So, and I know you love this, Valerie, too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
When I was young, I was an introvert. I mean, I am an introvert. I definitely am. There are moments when I just shut down. I don't know what to say. Sometimes when I'm at parties, the bathroom is my favorite place to go because it's just a lot. It's a lot to take on other people's energy. Like, I take it on. Everyone's energy just like comes at me. And I felt like this ever since I was young.
Mm,
And I remember when I was young and I started singing at like 14 years old. So I hadn't had this like journey of speaking in front of people yet. It was started with singing, actually. It's
mm.
like, why don't we just throw me into the lion's den, right? And I just remember telling my own parents, can you turn around while I sing? Because I can't face it. Like I can't even face the people who love me and support me the most. Can you just turn around? And my
Mm.
dad was like, oh my God, this girl has a voice that you'll never hear because she's just so, nervous about it. And that didn't help either, right? Like the perpetual just, oh, you should be nervous. It's a stage and, you have to be good and great and wonderful. So I very much have been an introvert ever since I was young. And I started competing in the Miss America program for like 10 years of my life. And that's when and I only did this because I had the opportunity to sing. Like I just wanted to sing. I
Mm.
feel very connected with music.
Mm.
That's how I get a lot of spiritual downloads. That's how I just connect with my higher self. We all have those ways. And so that's why I did it. But that's when the speaking engagements started coming around. I was like 14. I mean, I didn't even know who I was at the time. I was a young girl and I'm having to speak on behalf of these organizations. And so it was a great opportunity that grew me so much. And I thought to myself, oh my God, like I feel like this nobody, but
Mm.
I feel like now I'm the nobody for everybody because I'm tapping into a smaller space. There are so many figures and people out there who have presented on these like crazy, they have this just energy about them that's larger than life. And I'm kind of like the girl that can bring you back down. It's okay, right? Like it's okay to
Mm.
be an introvert. It's okay to be really terrified because I feel that way too. And I still feel like that sometimes. And it's just
Mm.
so wild, having gone through this whole episode of presenting on national TV and all of that stuff. People think it's just like, oh, it's never anything for you anymore. And yeah, it gets a lot easier and you handle it with ease, but I still have those moments because that introverted side of me has
Right.
never really left. So that was like what really inspired me to help people in this way. So I naturally attract a lot of introverts, a lot.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Or
wow.
people who might feel like they're introverted, but they actually have this wildly beautiful, amazing extroverted side. And it's like so awesome to see it unravel itself.
Wow. What an amazing thing. What an amazing story. Um, Especially in time like this. And this is why I wanted to bring you in this episode and podcast, because everybody's doing online programs, and a lot of women, they're so talented. They're so talented. They have their business blueprint. They wanted to go out there. They wanted to build up their business. But one thing that keeps them back is that a lot of time they don't want to show up like front of the camera, or even talking to somebody, or nervous that because we're doing a lot of stuff through Zoom now, and they feel like you know what, I don't look good, or they're not confident of their look or the way they speak or the way, however it is. So what is some of your advice for them? Like how can they get over that fear of that it's okay to be yourself, whether you're introvert or not? How can you get, because it's actually costing them their business.
It actually is. And you know what? This is again spiritual tap in. So much of what I do is not limited to the shallow surface level of showing up on a camera or on a
Mm,
stage. I think we all have that feeling of, oh, well, I just have to look good and pretty and maybe I'll feel more confident. No, no, what you really have to do is tap into your divine purpose. Why are you here? Like there is a
mm,
fire within all of us. And so whoever's listening to this, I challenge you, if this resonates with you and aligns with you, why are you here? Why are you here to spread this message? What is that story for you? What brought you here today? And the more and more you reflect on that life, and Valerie, you have an amazing story. Oh my
thank you.
gosh, I mean, I had chills all over my body when
Thank
I
you.
really felt that connection. The more you tap into the spiritual side, the more awakened you will become on camera, the more connected you will feel to that medium, because it's just a tool, right? It's
Mm,
energy. The camera, being on camera's energy, just like receiving and releasing or spending money is
mm,
energy. Everything is energy, so is the camera. And
right.
so tapping into the spiritual side of showing up is my greatest piece of advice for anyone who might be hosting a webinar, for anyone who might be going on a national stage. Maybe it's a TED Talk. If so,
Mm.
congratulations, that's amazing. But that's the thing, is tapping into your spiritually divine purpose of the message you're sharing and the story that you have and the fire that you have within you. If you focus and fixate on that, oh my God, I mean, the options are endless for you, and you'll forget that the camera's even there.
Mm,
Like you really will. You'll just be so tapped into this higher self that, and you know how it feels
right.
when you're tapped into a higher level of consciousness. It feels like almost as if you're floating and you are just
Mm,
really truly stepping into everything that you were destined to be on this planet. And that's what you have to do on camera, because that just makes everything else go away. It's like nothing else matters. Like right now I'm tapped into you, Valerie. I'm like looking into
mhm,
your amazingly beautiful eyes and I'm like, I love this moment, right? Like
right,
live in
right.
that moment and love this moment and be so grateful. Like even as you're talking, you can just say those little whispers, like, I'm so grateful for this. Thank you so much. Like that's true power.
Wow. That's so beautiful. So beautiful. And I so agree with you, because when I started my coaching business, and that was back God knows when. And I remember that there was a lot of things going on, that you have to go Facebook Live, you have to go Facebook Live. So far where I come from, and again, me and you spoke before, women were not allowed to go out of the house without covering their face. Okay, so let
Yes.
alone going in front of the camera or talking or anything like that.
Right.
So for me, it was like so hard to just, oh my God, like I'm everybody's gonna looking at me. Like if I go live, everybody's looking at me. What can I do? What should I do? And all of that. So like yourself, I was kind of like reflect on myself, and I said to myself, your message is more important than the look people see. My why was more important. So I'm here to change lives, to give people the help that they need, to share my story, to share my experience, to share my wisdom. So once I really tune into that within myself, like you said, it just, everything kind of went away.
Yes. And I mean, Valerie, look at your awareness too, because awareness is a really big part of this. you acknowledged, ask yourself this when you're in front of the camera. If a fear comes up, if you start to feel like you want to vomit, if you feel anxiety, this is where we have to go inward. This is a
Mm.
moment. This is an opportunity being gifted to us to grow by our divine guides. And you guys can believe in whatever you believe. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call.
It's okay.
I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so it's connected to my computer. So
That's
anyway,
fine.
while you're in front of the camera and those fears come up and they start to surface, ask yourself, where is this coming from? And this is even like a psychological thing for us to
Mm.
tap into. Why am I feeling this way? And for you, Valerie, it's your experience of always having to be hidden, right? Like
Right.
that part of your physical self has been hidden for so long. And that's huge awareness. When you can find the source of that, then you can
Mm.
grasp it, you can release it. And the way that you release it might be through tears. You might go on a walk out in nature. You might swim in the ocean, whatever that is for you, to release all of that energy that's unwanted. Release it
Mm.
so that you can open space for the goodness that you're going to get and bring out to the world.
Off the topic a little bit right now, since I hear you and you explain stuff such an amazing way and a beautiful way and a sincere way, are you spiritual? Do you practice your spirituality? How do you keep yourself grounded? What do you do to, like, especially when you said that when you
Yes.
start and you're so introvert, how is that came out about?
You know what? Yes, I am. And I've tapped into this as of just a couple of years ago. So
Okay.
I wasn't always at this like level of consciousness and awareness. And I think there's a lot of like hierarchy in the spiritual world. Like people are like, oh, I'm more conscious than you, or I'm more aware than you. And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to true energy healing, there is no judgment, there is no shame. Everyone is on their spiritual path. Like
Mm.
Valerie, you were on yours, I am on mine. And then we can link arms and support one another along the way. That's like the beauty of all of this. So grounding, oh my God, I had this crazy dream a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, because I was talking to my girlfriend who's very much into the energy space, I think what was happening is it was like an end of a chapter. Someone died in this dream, my
Wow.
fiance. It was just, it was like a brutal murder. And I was like, what is like, there was blood. It was just the most, it's like one of those dreams you wake up from. I thought it was real. And so
Right.
it was just so strange and like terrifying. And I felt, I've never in my life felt so off the earth. Like I literally felt like I wasn't here on the planet. I felt like my soul was just looking at everything, but I was awake. Like I was conscious in myself, but I wasn't in my body. And you
Mm.
guys you might have experienced this before
I have.
too. Yes.
Yes.
And so I felt like I was just floating over everything. And I'm like, I told my girlfriend, I'm like, I need to get like, how can I get back down? Because I know grounding exercises, I've done them many times, but in that moment, I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm here. This is so strange. Like I'm seeing trees around me. Everything just looks different. It's just different. And
Mm.
I'm kind of a little scared because I had never been feeling like that before to that degree. So I went outside, I stepped in Mother Earth, I rooted my feet into the grass,
Mm.
and I actually knelt because it was so intense. And I just put my hands in the grass and I started to tell myself, I'm okay. I am here. I am present. You know, everything is going to be okay. I just started really nurturing myself and my body. And I planted myself. I saw myself literally being rooted out of the ground like a tree, as if I were a tree on the earth.
Wow.
And that's a really powerful grounding exercise. My
Mm.
medium, she also shares this with me. Sometimes she'll go out onto like bricks or concrete. Sometimes that helps her even more than grass. It's really whatever feels right to you. But even grounding exercises. So while you're doing that, take notice to the smells around you, all of the sights, all of the senses, right?
Mm.
What do you hear? What do you see? What do you taste? Like what, just really tap back into yourself. And a lot of people do this with anxiety too. So
Right.
if you have those anxious moments, even if it's on camera, you can just sit and ground yourself for literally like close your eyes and ground yourself for maybe a minute or two, and you'll come back. But it's a beautiful thing that we can get to that level. But this was a couple of weeks ago and I was freaking out. I'm like, what is going on here? This is so crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that. And I tell you why. From the spiritual, my spiritualist started when I was a child. So I
Yes.
practiced. I got my certification to teach meditation in India. I was there for 2 years, and I practiced. And I went to these places, and they do this intense meditation that we were up for 12 hours. You're sitting down, and you're just like, yeah, you're going into within yourself and your awareness. So one of the things that you describe right now is that you're floating, and you're seeing everything, and how all the bloods and everything is happening, is because you awareness is out of your physical mind and your physical body. Because you see, the whole idea of spirituality is to understand that you are more than your physical body and mind.
Yes.
You see,
Yes.
that's really what it's all
Absolutely.
about. So when we look at ourselves in the mirror, or we look at ourselves on the camera, or it's just that that's your physical mind and physical body, that's not you.
It's not though. It's real. And that's a really important, powerful message that you just shared. It's a vehicle. Like the body is just, and I look at my body so differently.
Mm,
COVID, the pandemic really tapped me into, I think that's what really launched it for me, like looking
right.
inward because I had so much anxiety. And I think the whole world shared that. So I
Mm,
started meditating more than I ever had. I hated meditating. I
right,
was like,
right,
I looked at it like it was a task. Now
right,
I'm like, I cannot live my life without connecting this way.
right,
Yeah,
right.
it's just it's crazy how things have changed and shifted in a great way, but your body is just it's a physical vessel for your
Mhm.
soul.
Yeah,
That's all it is. And so you should nurture it and you should love it and you should care for it. That's important, but at the end of the day, it doesn't define you. It doesn't define your power. Your soul defines your power. That's
right.
that's what and I mean, when you have those out of body experiences, you really start to realize, oh my god, I mean, this whole body image thing and like looking at my arms on camera and my hair and all that stuff, like none of that really even matters. It just all
Yeah.
goes away. That's what I was saying earlier. It just all kind of falls in the background because
It really
yeah.
does. And that's why I wanted to share it with you, because a lot of people meditate, and their meditation is like, I hear all these thoughts coming in and I can't stay still. And at first you get very, very uncomfortable. When I teach meditation, sometimes people cry for the longest time because that must have to come out to see. But one of the
Yes.
important things that I always tell people, that you are not your physical mind and body. And because of that, I do this exercise that you close your eyes and you just get your awareness to fill up the body, and then fill up the room, and then fill up the
Love
whole
it.
house, and then fill
Oh,
up the
I love
world.
that.
And the wider you get, so you ask yourself this question when you get to that level, and say to yourself, well, how can my physical mind and body be here, while my awareness is so broad that it could be like, out of the world,
That's amazing. Yes.
right?
Yes. That's like expanding your your awareness to just without the limitations of only yourself.
Right,
Like you're
right,
literally
literally.
spreading it to the world. That's amazing.
Yes, and the reason I'm talking to you about this is because for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's very, very important to pay attention to that awareness, because whether you're in front of the camera or in front of the audience or whatever you're doing, once you find your purpose of, okay, this is my purpose, this is why I'm here, but then the body, the physical body and mind is not really that important. We pay attention as society, unfortunately, we pay attention so much on that, oh my god, like, I'm old, I have wrinkles, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm tall, I'm short, and that just distract them from the main purpose of what is there that they're here for and what to do. And that's why I want you to be here and talk about this, that a lot of time people lose opportunities because of their look, and the society doesn't help. So how can somebody look at the society and say, they're going to say, well, Kat, you're beautiful, you see, coming from the camera, you have no problem, and you don't understand how I feel, I'm old, I see my wrinkle, nothing working when I put on makeup, all that stuff. What would you say to those people that are feeling that way, and even if they want to overcome their feeling and try to meditate and try to practice, but yet the society kind of crushed them down again to give him that validation, is, yeah, you see,
Mhm.
you tried, but it's not good enough.
Well, first of all, you don't have to have makeup. You don't have to have sheath dresses. You don't have to have pretty earrings. You don't have to have anything to be powerful like that. That's just stuff I personally enjoy that I put on because it just empowers me. I'm like, oh, I love a jewel
Mm.
tone. You know, I love a sheath dress. I'm also a former news anchor. Okay.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right,
So I'm like, I feel like in my element, right?
right.
Whatever makes you feel in your element, that might be something that has something to do with your heritage, right? Like put that on, connect with yourself that way. It might be t-shirt and jean shorts, like whatever that is. You know, I watch a lot of Jillian Michaels, for example. I know
Right.
everybody has a love-hate relationship with Jillian, but I think she's actually excellent. I love listening to her. She's very
Right.
good on camera. And she just does her ripped t-shirts and she just owns it. And that's part of just herself. Like she's
Yeah.
truly being whatever she wants to be. And it resonates. Like I think that's why I'm so like zoned in on her, because
Okay.
she
Yes.
truly, and yes, I know she's a fitness person. I get it. Like that's her mission and her purpose on this earth. Like that's her
Right.
mission and purpose in this lifetime. That doesn't mean that we need to be like ripped with six pack abs and make our vessels, our bodies, like exactly what society wants us to. Because the
Right.
truth of the matter is, the more we pay attention to divine guidance from our spirit guides, and they're always sending messages, it's just the more you become aware, the more you'll
Mm.
be open to receiving them. So I see them all the time now. Valerie, I'm sure you see them like wild. I've been like seeing so many synchronicities and numbers this week. Like it's just, it's like more than I've ever seen them in my life. So it's crazy. But I know that they're always watching now. I'm aware of it. I see it.
Mm.
But the more you start to focus on the internal, it's interesting how the external just falls into place and you're
Mm.
also put where you're meant to be there. So a lot of spirituality, and I think this is like this, we talk about spirituality so much like it's like this new, you know, new age trending thing, but you know this, Valerie, because you've done all of this amazing work way back when, like our ancestors, this was just like a dinner. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was just like a normal thing for them. Like this is what they relied on to get through
Mm.
their life and live their life. And so they were always connected. So it's like we're kind of just like bringing back what is really naturally for us. But the more we do that, the more you'll find that you are going out on walks more. You are connecting with your body more. You are, and it's okay to do that. But if your goal is to get a little healthier physically, it'll all fall into place because you're following
Mm.
the divine messages and you're also doing the practices. Like you are
Mm.
going outside and taking, like I said, taking those walks in nature. You are going swimming. And I feel that I've become healthier physically because of being so tapped in. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're so aware of your awareness that you're saying that, okay. And the higher, I don't know if you got to that level or not, but I'm just going to give you a little preview of
Yeah,
that. Is that
please.
when you reach certain point, a part of the spirituality is that we sit down and we say to ourselves, uh, so far we have discovered we have the five senses, right? So that we see, we hear, we taste, we touch. And then when you sit down, and I would like you to practice that when you meditate, because put all the awareness on yourself and say to yourself, without me, there's nothing to be seen. Without me,
Yes.
I can't hear anything. Without me, there's no taste. Without me, there's no touch. So you are the universe.
Yes. Yes. I love this. I'm going to say that now. I love
Yes.
that because it's true. You are the universe. People say, oh, stop, stop saying the universe and stuff because, and everybody has their own beliefs. But
Right.
the truth of the matter is, and I don't want to like step over any boundaries here, but the truth is, God is the universe. We are you know what I'm saying? It's all in one.
But
So,
without you, there's nothing going to be here. Like, I mean, things still will exist, but it's you that are witnessing that existence.
yes.
You see,
Yes.
that's what it is. So
Yes.
if somebody's laughing at you, if somebody telling you something negative, if somebody gives you feedback as in saying that you're not good enough and you shouldn't be in front of the camera, you're too big, however it is, you are the one that is experiencing even that negative income of what people are saying to you.
And so what does that mean? That means you can
Exactly.
control it.
There we
You
go.
can control the way that you receive it
Right.
or how you release it.
How you release it. And that's the channel. Once you realize that, because I can, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, if you're not here, I can talk about you all you want. You don't give a fuck. You're like,
Right.
I'm not here.
Right. Like
You know?
seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had a client today reach out to me and she has people in her life who are judging her for stepping into her true power, into her greater mission and purpose on this earth. And they're not happy about it. And I'm like, I didn't even need to hear the message fully to really see, well, listen, other people's insecurities are going to be projected onto you as you step further into awareness. They're going to try to bring you down and make you play small with them because they're not there yet. It's not a judgmental statement towards
Right.
them. It's their journey. And like, we don't shame here, but like, that's what they're trying to do. And so you can either choose to play small with them and go back down to their level and have to like reinvent yourself all over again, or you can follow your divine guidance, continue on your path, stay in your lane, and tell them to screw off.
That's it. That's really what
And
it
kindly,
is.
and I mean kindly, like not even screw off, but literally go inward. Here we go inward and say, I release your energy back to you. I'm not, this is my responsibility is not healing your insecurities. I have my own to work on. I have my own to heal. I'm not taking on other people's energy.
Beautiful.
That's so powerful.
That's
Like
so
that's what
beautiful.
you have to do.
Yeah,
And
literally.
nothing else. When you start channeling that, it's like going on camera. It's like you either like me or you don't, and that's okay. Either way,
Yeah, that's okay.
whatever.
And that's,
There's
yeah, absolutely. Um, so what is there that you know now that you wish you knew when you started your business? And for people that are out there trying to open a business or trying to be an entrepreneur, and they say like, Kat, what would you wanted to know then that you know now? And you're like, damn it, I wish I knew that then.
Oh God. I mean, I guess I don't wish I knew anything because I feel like now where I'm at, and we've been talking about spiritual, I wish I don't wish it because it wasn't meant to be at that time. But
Mm,
if I would have been more tapped in at that time,
right.
everything would have felt, I guess there was so much desperation. I started
Mm,
victimizing myself. I started falling in this trap of comparison in my business. Oh, well,
mm,
why can this coach have all of these things, right? You might find
mm,
yourself in this situation too. Why can this person have all of these clients? Like, why can't I do that? I have all of this, and you start to victimize yourself. You start to be desperate. And if I had been tapped in at that time spiritually, and I had been listening
mm.
and being open to receiving the message, and I'm not judging my former self,
Right, 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 right.
but that it would have made things probably happen with a lot more ease than they were. It doesn't mean it's easy. It just means they happen with more ease. So yeah, looking back, I mean, I could have been a little more aware, but I'm actually glad that it happened the way it did. Because that's what the destiny and the journey was meant to
Begins.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely. If you ask me that same question, I would say
Yes.
definitely, like you said, comparison, comparison, the self-doubt, the lack of confidence, and you think that you are alone, you're
Yeah.
doing something that nobody is feeling this way. I may look weird or feel weird, or why me? And you can't help it but because that's just the way the society is, and that's how we grow up. And we only happy when we see progress. And if we don't see progress, what do? We become a victim, and we harsh on our own self. And without, I mean, some people have, other people are doing that to them, but our own self. So if I have to give advice to people, is that if you are starting your business, you just have to stop those little noise in your head. You just have to stop. You are unique the way you are. It's going to take you a little time. You may be not good at it now, but I promise you, you will become good at it eventually. And you have to be
Yes.
patient with yourself. Patient is
Oh my
that
gosh.
a
That's
lot of.
so important. I just cannot stress the importance of patience
Mhm,
and just self-love in that way, because that's loving yourself, is saying, you know what, I will be introduced to this when I am meant to be introduced to this, but for now I'm going to harness every opportunity. I'm going to accept every offer that comes my way that feels aligned, like, right, anything in it, that which doesn't serve me, I will release from my
mm,
space. I don't need it. But yeah, the comparisons, it's so easy to fall into that. And you said something that really resonated too, which was, it can be really isolating running a business for
mhm,
many different reasons, not even just the comparisons, but, and
mhm.
it's Valerie, your story is amazing because you didn't even speak English. Like, you had to learn this whole new language.
Yeah.
And that's like, I can't even imagine the feelings of isolation. So
Mhm.
I just want you to know, whoever's listening, who needs to hear this, it's okay to feel isolated. It's okay to
Mhm.
feel those things out, but just release those feelings. That's like the key, is it's okay to
Right.
feel them, but in order to receive, we have to release them. And so I felt isolated so many times. I was feeling isolated last week for a totally different reason. Yeah, it wasn't even about my business, but it's, you start to, when you're running your own thing, a lot of people in your world might not be doing that. So maybe they have a traditional 9 to 5 job, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, you know how it is. It's just so different when you're manning an operation on your own. And even especially when you don't have any help at this moment, which you
Right.
will grow a team, you will build a team later, will that into existence. But when you don't, it can be even harder because it's all on you. And that's okay to feel the pressure. And if it gets too deep, I
Mm.
always suggest my clients to seek out help, you know, if it's a
Mm.
therapist, a psychologist, an energy healer, like whatever that
Mm.
is for you and whatever aligns for you, find the help to work on your soul and your spirit and your brain and your being.
Mm.
That's the best thing you can do for yourself in those moments.
That's so nice. That's so amazing. Yeah, you're so right. So release that. Make a room for the new feelings. Make a room for new energy and for a new journey that you're about to embark into.
Yeah.
So, to our listeners, give some of these people a tip that if they say, "Oh well, Kat, we just started it," and again, especially with the marketing strategy these days, they're saying that videos are more better than content after putting all that stuff. So if somebody's starting, so where should they start? So when they make it the first video, let's just say the first, what are some steps that you can give it to them so they can take it today and practice it or apply it or do something that they can get to that over that hump that they have?
Well, video is totally king these days on social media. It just is, even in email marketing and all. And you have to be a little careful with email marketing because sometimes when you drop a video into email campaigns, they'll mark it as spam. So that's a side note.
Okay.
You can direct them via a link. So we will get into that another time. But yeah, starting on social media is a lot easier these days. I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have to go live for 15 minutes. Why? Because everyone's attention span is we have less than a goldfish when it comes to attention spans these days.
Mm.
So the videos that bring the most energy, that get the most attraction from other people watching, are the 9 to 15-second videos that you post. That's it.
Ah.
Can you give me 9 to 15 seconds of your smiling face or your product, whatever it is, preferably your face, because we as humans, and like think about this psychologically, like when you go to the airport, what do? You watch
Mm.
people. It's
Right, right,
just,
right,
it's like everybody's just looking at one.
right.
And it's so, it might feel weird at first, and you don't have to put it out there. So my suggestion to you is, give me like a 10-second video at home that you record. You do not have to put it on social media, but look at it, really watch it from an outsider's perspective. How, like, take it in. Am I okay with
Right,
this? Do I feel good about this? And sometimes you might not even feel great about it, and you might just post it anyway. And those are always the videos that do the best, by the way.
right,
Like
right,
the
right.
ones where you're like, oh, I don't like that, but I'm going to post it anyway and see what happens. Those are always the ones that convert. It's just crazy. So if you can give 9 to 15 seconds, practice it by yourself first. Maybe you'll go back to one of those videos you recorded in your practice sessions and you'll use it for something real. But do that. That's what people want on Reels. They want on TikTok, and Instagram is turning into a video only platform soon.
Mm.
I don't know when that transition is happening, but they did announce, I think it was a couple weeks ago,
Oh,
this
I
is
did not know
happening.
that.
Yes. So it's a test for us. Here we
Okay.
go. And
Right,
internally, it's a
right, right.
test for us. Take on the challenge and feel more comfortable and confident with yourself. It's a journey that you'll go on, but it's always those short videos. So it's nothing that you need to be nervous about. And when it comes to live videos, a lot of people are like, how can I be less distracted? That's
Mm-hmm.
like the number one, because there are people commenting, or, oh my gosh, I see the light on my, there's just so many like little different distractions. One of my friends has her hair. She loves to touch her hair, and it's a comfort. Touching our hair is like a comfort thing,
Right, right.
like sometimes some of us like pick our nails or whatever. Like we just do things that bring us to the present. Then yes, the pen clicking. My fiance, I can't even, he'll kill me for saying this. He like picks his skin. I'm like,
Oh my God.
but like it brings him to the present. It brings him to the present. That's what it literally does. Because I asked my therapist about this. I was like, why do we do these things? And she's like, well, it just brings you to the present when you're feeling like you need comfort. So if you're doing it, it's okay, but you can become more aware as you watch it. So the only way you're going to become more aware on camera and for all of this stuff to fall into the background and for you to be more confident, for you to feel better about doing it, for it to feel kind of second nature, is for you to keep doing it and to keep watching yourself. I know that is so weird. I know, like
I
watching.
cringe. Cat, I
Oh,
cringe every time.
I know it's I do as well. It's the worst thing ever to hear your own voice because science, like truly biologically, we hear something different.
I
So when
know.
we hear yeah, it's like we hear a deeper voice. So when we hear ourselves on camera, we're like, what? Where'd that chipmunk come from? Like, what? I didn't know that's what I sounded like. So it's like it's a lot to take in. It's like literally you're seeing what other people are seeing. And I think that's a huge part of it, because if you've never seen yourself in that way, that's a lot to take in. But give yourself time and patience to work through those feelings too. That's so
Right,
key.
right.
So key.
Oh, so you're so right about holding something for the longest time, and I still do sometimes. So when I do a group coaching, and we do it through Zoom, and a lot of time, I see some of my clients there. They're just like not opening the window. They're just like, it's like their picture, and it could be for different reason, but you can tell there. And I actually suggested them to have one of these beats,
Ooh, that's
and yeah,
beautiful.
and then so as you're talking and you're just going through everything,
I love
yeah, and then each of
that.
these beats means something. So I'm smart, I'm lovable, I'm pretty,
Oh, I
and
love
yes, and then
that.
you start all over again. If you do this enough, you will become that. You'll actually believe in that because it's just you. Yeah.
Yes, you're affirming while you're doing it. That's amazing.
Yeah, so
Oh my
that's
gosh.
my trick for people. Like, if you're on a Facebook Live or something, that if you get overwhelmed, because you can just put your hands underneath the table or just like this, you don't have to.
Yes.
Nobody's can see it. But it was really helpful for a lot of my clients. They're like, oh my God, it was so. It's because it's very calming. You're not, your attention is not on the screen. Oh my God, people are watching me, so you're kind of splitting your attention with yourself and the screen. So
Yes.
that was a good trick that I taught my clients. But yeah, definitely, like you said, something that to get their attention, not
I
so much on
love
themselves.
that. I'm going to get myself some beats now. I love that. I think that's so amazing. And no, it is. And another thing too is before you even get on camera, I have been talking to myself since I was like 5. I know that sounds weird and I'm
It's not.
comfortable. Listen, I'm comfortable coming out about this. Like, okay, like, just like, I'm finally okay with it because listen, I needed that when I was little. I don't know. I just would talk to myself and it's like a little imaginary friend. And we all, when I started feeling more comfortable, when my fiance started working from home and I heard him talking to himself, like having full blown conversations. And I'm
Right,
like,
right.
oh, I don't feel as weird
I
now.
know. I'm not that
Yes.
weirdo. Yes, yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
when I worked in corporate, I would see people like in the hall just mumbling to themselves. I'm like, so we all do that. So why not just talk to yourself about the messages that you want to share in these videos?
Right.
Present as if, like with me, and these are manifesting our desires too. I literally will, like if I'm envisioning, like let's just say you want to be on stage, right?
Right.
Like you want to be doing a TED talk somewhere. That should be something you spend every day to manifest. Like you should be spending 15 minutes every day just sitting in that moment or standing in that moment. So stand there with your hands out to the universe, feel the heat of the stage
Mm,
lights, like really just be in that moment. Because like you said, the more you channel that, the more it will come to fruition later. I mean, that's
mm,
your guides are hearing it, they're delivering, and they will deliver it to you. They will. So you are an energetic source. So if you want to be on
yeah.
stage, live on stage. Like I live in my house that I don't have yet, but I live in it.
Yeah.
I do every day.
Yeah.
I'm like cheersing at the kitchen counter. I see the floor to ceiling windows and sliding doors, the pool outside. Like I don't even want a pool. It's just in the vision. I don't know why
Right,
it's there.
right, 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 right. Right,
I
right.
have no idea why it's there. But it is. And so I live there. And every day for like 15 minutes, I just sit there and I live in it because my home is so precious to me. It's like this sanctuary.
Right,
Um,
right.
but whatever that is, live in it and talk to yourself through it. So if it's presenting on stage, do your presentation. to yourself. Like, get
Right.
comfortable with it. Yeah.
Yes. Such an amazing conversation, Kat. I really thank you so much for being here with us and sharing some of your amazing stories and giving us some tips that we can be more comfortable. And we talk about spirituality a lot, and I do really emphasize on that. And like back in the days when you talk to yourself, people say you're weirdo, but now it's very common, believe it or not. A lot of people do that. A lot of people, because we're so in tune with ourselves. And like you said, spirituality is becoming trend on the Western countries now, and they're saying that, okay, but it was always there. That's how people used to live. Back in the days, 100 years ago, there was no time. There was no, they used to see the sun and used to tell the
Right.
time, things like that.
Right. Right.
So I'm really glad that you came over here and tell our listeners that it's important to pay attention to yourself, take some time for yourself, love yourself from your conscious perspective, not from the physical perspective that is
Absolutely.
keeping you from succeeding and being your true self.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you align with that, Valerie. It's such an honor to be here with you. Like, I'm over here
Thank
like
you
this
so
whole
much.
time, just like, I'm so grateful to be with
Oh,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Yes,
so
yes. We're
much.
definitely going to bring you back because, we're going to have a lot of questions, but
Yeah,
I'm just happy that you took the time to be here with us today.
of course. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.